Hey, Natalie. Don't you think you've been keeping your poor mother waiting for too long? I'm dying to know the details. Tell me everything. Hey, Mom. Details about what? Your wedding! Duh. You're marrying such a dreamboat. I'm excited to hear how the planning's going. Whatever you've already decided, let me know. I want to hear about it all. Oh, wedding stuff. Well, about that. I've got some news. Oh, how exciting! It feels like just yesterday you were still my baby, going to school. And now look at you. I can't believe you're getting married to the company president's son. Have you found a venue yet? A garden would be lovely, especially in the spring. Oh, I know. Maybe you've picked a grand estate. It would be perfect for your fairy tale wedding. To think that my own daughter gets to have such a lavish wedding. I'm so proud to be your mother. I'm so glad to know that all those years I spent raising you weren't for nothing. I know you're so excited for me, and I hate to let you down like this. I'll just cut to the chase. We broke up. What? You're not making any sense. You two aren't together anymore? Yeah, we broke up last weekend. We thought it would be best for the both of us if we separated. Last weekend? And I'm only hearing about this now. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. It's been a bit hectic lately at work, so I kind of forgot to give you a call or something. Wait, hang on. Can you just back up and explain this to me? Like, what do you mean you two broke up? Wedding planning can be really stressful, so it probably got a little overwhelming for you two. I'm sure it was just your usual lover's spat. Nothing too serious. It's probably not worth breaking up over, right? Don't tell me you two really broke up. You're still going through with the wedding, right? We aren't together anymore. We split up, going in different directions. To put it plainly, we broke off the engagement. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but the wedding's not happening anymore. What the heck happened? What is the meaning of this? You could have had it all. You could have married into such a rich family, but you threw it all away. Are you insane? How could you make such a stupid decision? There were a couple of reasons why we broke up. It's kinda complicated. Well, you better start explaining it to me right now. I deserve to know. I already told all of my relatives. I told everyone that you were gonna be the wife of some hotshot company heir, and that our families were going to join together. They all know. What am I supposed to tell them now? They'll think I made it all up. Mom, why would you run your mouth like that? Forget about that. I won't accept this. You need to make up with him right away. Get back together with Eric. I don't want to. You ungrateful brat. Children should do as their parents say. Mom, why are you acting like this? Don't you think you've made me angry after spouting all of that ridiculous nonsense? It's only natural that I'd act like this. You better beg him to get back with you. You're just overreacting. I don't really need to go that far. I'm not gonna do that. Moreover, this was a mutual decision. Even his parents have accepted it. What's your problem? Well, I can't accept this. You think I'll let this slide so easily? Huh? I told you. Eric and I decided this together. No, you two are getting back together. Do you hear me? You can't pass up this golden opportunity to marry into money. Until you two make up, I won't let you come back home. Mom, you're being too much. Natalie! Oh my gosh, I heard from Mom. Did you really get dumped by Eric? I wouldn't put it like that. It was more like we parted amicably. Amicably, huh? I don't believe it. You guys were engaged. There's no way you two would just casually break up out of nowhere without a big fight. That's impossible. And he's the son of your company's president, for crying out loud. Oh my gosh, your life is totally over. You're definitely on the chopping block. I probably wouldn't go to work on Monday if I were you. You're just being dramatic. It's nothing like that. Everything will be fine at work. I don't understand how you can be so chill about this. Your whole career is at stake here. Although, I guess these days they can't just lay you off without a good reason. If they ever need to lay anyone off, you'd probably be the first to go. Your life is as good as over. What? You know, since the beginning, I had a feeling things would turn out like this. And then, sure enough, you two broke off your engagement. It's like I'm a psychic or something. Well, you were hopeless from the start, I suppose. Are you finished on this very offensive stream of consciousness? What I'm saying is that you and Eric work at the same company, right? And on top of that, there aren't that many women working there, right? Yeah, because our company deals with construction. It's not exactly an attractive field amongst women. What about it? Do you think we only got together because out of all the women in the company, I'm the only one around the same age? Oh, no. That's not it at all. You're getting it all wrong. Since Eric is set to be president once his dad retires, he'd pull so many women, I'm sure it would have been big trouble for you. He's a hot commodity. Excuse me? He probably only liked you because you were the only woman around. Poor guy. He probably didn't realize there were much better options elsewhere. He could definitely do so much better. I bet he finally realized that and dumped you. That's definitely not what happened. Oh, I just thought of something. If you got dumped by Eric, and he's single and ready to mingle again, should I shoot my shot? Maybe I'll be his next fiancé. If I manage to snag Eric, then I can be his trophy wife. What the hell are you talking about? You don't get to complain. You got that? You two already broke up, so you don't have the right to butt in. You can't hold a grudge against me, even if I get married to Eric.
I heard from your mother. She said that you and Derek broke up.
Great. Looks like Dad's up next. Well, what about it? Are you gonna tell me to reconcile with him? Or did Liana tell you to talk to me about her going after Eric?
Huh? What are you talking about? Of course I'm fine with the two of you calling off the engagement. It would be more difficult if you two had gotten married and then divorced instead. Whether it's right before the wedding or whenever, isn't it good that it happened without any problems?
Thank you! Finally, a rational person.
Of course, I never would have thought that you would break off the engagement like that. You should do what's best for you. I want my daughter to marry someone that she truly wants to be with, from the bottom of her heart.
Thanks, Dad. That means a lot.
I know I haven't messaged you in a while, but I have something I wanted to get your advice about. But first, are you doing all right? How have you been since you called off the engagement?
I've been doing okay. The transition's been a little hectic. Why? What's up? It's pretty rare for you to ask for advice like this.
Well, I hope you're sitting down. I've been thinking about getting a divorce with your mother.
What?
I thought it would be best if both me and your mother were there on your wedding day. You know, as a united front. But then I was thinking that I would divorce her after the wedding. But since you broke off the engagement, I'm thinking that I might as well just divorce her now, since I don't really have a good reason to hold off on it.
Wait, hold up. Why do you want to divorce her? Are you really going to after all this time?
I'd rather not tell you, since you're my daughter, and I don't want to burden you with these things. But honestly, it's tough living with your mother. This old man just wants to live in peace all by himself.
Did you have a fight with Mom? Is that what brought this on?
No, we didn't have a big fight or anything. Even if we did, I wouldn't even have the energy to fight back.
Then what's the matter?
She's been unbearable since you and Derek got engaged. She kept saying things like, "Why didn't I end up with a rich and successful husband like that? Life is unfair." Or like, How did I end up married to such a depressing loser? It's your fault I can't be happy. You better take responsibility and do something about it, you bum. I'm sure you get the idea. She'd say stuff like that, blaming me every day for the way her life turned out.
She really said all that to you? Every day?
At the beginning, I just let her say whatever she wanted, and I had hoped that she'd get over it eventually. But out of nowhere, I was just at my limit. I had it up to here with her, and that was the final straw. It was a moment of clarity. In one moment, she was still my beloved wife, and in the next, it was like all love I had for her was gone in an instant. I guess in my own way, I plan to make your mother happy by doing this. So she doesn't have to be married to a loser like me anymore.
No! Don't talk about yourself like that. You're not a loser. And I'm sorry you went through all of this. I'll support you no matter what, Dad. You deserve to be happy, too. If divorcing Mom is what it takes, I've got your back. And whenever you feel the timing is right, I'll back you up when you're ready to go through with the divorce.
Thank you so much, Natalie.
Where will you go? Are you gonna give Mom the house? Or are you gonna drive her out of the house once you're divorced?
I think it'll be easier if I just give her the house. She'd probably kick up a storm otherwise, so I'll just find a new place to live by myself.
You're probably right about that. I know a lot of people who deal with real estate because of work. If you need help finding a place, they can help you search for a good location.
That would be really helpful, honey. Well, I think it's getting a little late for your old man, so I think I'm gonna head to bed now. Again, I really appreciate the support. Take care. Talk to you later. I know your mother and sister have been saying all sorts of nonsense, but I'll be here to support you, no matter what. Stay strong, honey.
Natalie! This is a bit sudden, but I'm just letting you know that you're forbidden from entering the house ever again. From here on out, you're not allowed to set a single foot inside. You can never, ever, ever come back here. What? That came out of nowhere. What happened? What did I do? I'm cutting you off. And why is that? By chance, does this have anything to do with me breaking off my engagement to Eric? Are you saying that you're still mad about it and that you're disowning me? That's part of the reason, I suppose. But it's mostly for something else. What do you mean? What is it? Oh, you foolish girl. Actually, Eric and your sister decided to get married. What? Seriously? Liana is really going to marry Eric. And when that happens, you're going to be Eric's sister-in-law. Oh my, this is hilarious. I feel bad for him. His ex-fiancée is going to be his sister-in-law. That's why I'm disowning you. Wait a second. Are you being serious? You're really going to cut me out of your lives like that? Do you really need me to spell it out for you? Come to think of it, you've always been a bumbling fool. I remember when you were in elementary school, you ran the relay one time. Even though you were in first place, you stumbled right before the finish line and blew it. And when you were set to get a high score on your SATs, you ended up failing because you got a fever the day of the exam. Why bring all this up? What are you getting at? All of this is to say, ever since you were little, you've always been a hapless fool who attracts nothing but bad luck. This is the perfect opportunity to finally get rid of you. Mom, you can't do this to me. I have no use for a daughter that would pass up the chance to marry into money. You would have wanted for nothing if you married him, but you threw it all away. Stupid girl. In times like this, I'm glad that I gave birth to an extra daughter. You're the worst. How could you say that to your own daughter? I'd say getting disowned is worse. Get out. You ruined your chance to marry into a rich family. When your sister becomes the president's trophy wife, I'll have no use for a dimwit like you. Since I'm the company president, I doubt that would ever happen. What? What are you talking about? If that's really how you feel, then go ahead. Do what you want. Disown me. If you have nothing else to talk about, we're done here. I don't think Liana will ever become the company president's wife, but congrats on the wedding, I guess. Can you convey my congratulations to my dear sister for me? Hold on. Let me get this straight. You said that you're the president. Yeah, that's right. What? Why are you only bringing this up now? This doesn't make any sense. You just broke off the engagement. You should be the company pariah. And your company is run by Eric's father. How could you be president? Yeah, that's true. Eric's father is the current president. There's no way that little old me, an average company worker, could become president. But you're wrong. I was named next in line. I'll be the president once his father steps down. Are you kidding me? That's impossible. I don't believe it. There's no way that my unremarkable dime-a-dozen daughter will inherit a successful company like that. Eric is his son. He's the one that should inherit the company. Just because he's the president's son doesn't mean he'll be the next one for sure. While nepotism does occur in some companies, there are some companies that truly value hard work and the skills of their workers. You can't be serious. The current president, in other words, Eric's father, terminated the employment of his own son, and then he appointed me as the next president based off of merit. No, it can't be. Eric was leeching money from the company account. His father probably had an inkling of what he was doing, and once he looked more into it, he found that Eric had even embezzled quite a bit of money from the company. He flipped out, and then immediately after that, we were all notified that he was terminated. Oh my gosh. No way! After that, he even called me over to his office. He told me to call off the engagement with his idiot of a son right away. What else could I do? It was the boss's orders. But why did you end up becoming the next president? You were his son's fiancée at one point. That's a bad look for the company. And you're just an average employee. This doesn't make any sense. I was far from a lowly employee. I was the vice president. You were? How could you possibly not know any of this about me? I got hired back at that company after I built up my own startup company. It got bought out by my current company, so I was made vice president. I've been featured in a bunch of articles as an outstanding woman in my field. You need to question yourself as a mother for not knowing this. You? A good example. As if. You flub everything you do. And that's what I was talking about when I said some people are promoted by merit. Because the president values real skill and dedication more than anything else. He said he felt better about entrusting the company to me, rather than his pea-brained son. And that's why he personally appointed me as the next company president. Do you get it now? So, you're saying that even if Liana and Eric get married, it's meaningless? Our hopes of her marrying into money and joining together with such a prolific family are all ruined? This was all for nothing! I have no use for any of my things at the house. Feel free to toss it out. Oh, Mom, by the way. Yes. It's too late to take back any of the things you've said to me about disowning me. I promise I'll work hard as the next company president. I'll make you proud.
Hey, Natalie. Guess what? Looks like your mother and I are getting divorced without a hitch.
Really? That's great news.
Since you told her about you becoming the president, and what with Eric's termination, she's been kind of out of it. Like, she sits around all day with a dazed look on her face. So of course I had to take advantage of it and get her to sign the divorce papers.
Wow, you really did it, Dad.
She probably didn't know what the heck she was signing. It's in her own handwriting anyways, so there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, of course. If she signed it herself, it's legit. You should make your escape now before she comes back to her senses. Well, now that that's over with, let's go out to eat pizza!
That'd be great. I'll message you later then. In the meantime, I'll be busy moving my stuff out of the house.
That's probably for the best. When Mom snaps out of it later, she probably won't even notice that you carried all your stuff out.
You and your friend really helped me a lot by finding a new place. Thanks to you guys, I'm able to rent out a really cool spot.
Has your daughter, It's only natural that I would want to help you out however I can. Compared to all you've done for me, this is nothing. I'll talk to you later. Let me know once you've settled in, okay?
Okay. Make sure you work up an appetite, all right? Today, I'll take you to one of my favorite pizza spots.
You're so cruel! How could you do this to me? Why didn't you tell me that Eric was fired? If you knew, you should have told me right away.
Is my name Miss Cleo? I'm not a psychic. I had no idea you'd be a scumbag and get engaged to him after we just broke up. Be grateful that I at least told you before your wedding. I told Mom and figured she'd tell you right away, but I guess I made it just in time right before you sealed your fate. I heard you just couldn't wait, could you? I saw you went down to the courthouse to get married in front of a judge.
What do you mean she already knew?
I'm not surprised, but don't you think it's horrible that Mom was going to wait until after you got married to tell you the big news? She probably would have told you right after you said, I do. Well, at least now you know. You're pretty lucky you found out when you did.
Lucky? You call this luck? I'm all out of luck!
Oh, don't say that. You're being dramatic.
Why are you doing this to me? Are you mocking me? Like you just said, we're legally married now!
What? Did I get it mixed up? Again, not a psychic. All Mom said was that you two were going to get married. Not that you practically ran like the wind to go and actually do it.
Well, that was a long time ago. The original plan was to have a wedding. But after some thought, we figured there was no use in waiting.
I don't know what to tell you. I love how you're blaming me, not your scumbag husband for keeping this from you, or Mom for knowing and not saying anything.
Ugh, Mom. How could she screw me over like this? She's probably so out of it that she forgot to tell me. She's going crazy.
Oh, it's that bad, huh?
She never told me. Although it was kind of an impulse to get married the way we did. I had to do it before he dumped me on the sidewalk like yesterday's trash. I just didn't want to end up a washed-up spinster like you.
Who the hell are you calling a washed-up spinster?
Why is this happening to me? We literally just got married. There's no way they would let me divorce him so easily. I even asked Eric if we could get a divorce. And you know what he said? He was like, nope, no way. I don't want to be alone and all by myself. He just wouldn't agree to it.
It's probably because he got disowned by his father. They're probably not on speaking terms anymore. And he's definitely not getting any financial support.
Ugh, this is utterly ridiculous. I just wanted to be the president's trophy wife. Is that too much to ask for?
He can crawl his way back up the ladder if you help him out a bit. If he's able to become the president, you'll get what you wanted and become the president's wife. But wait. You'd first have to help get rid of his giant pile of debt.
Debt? What debt?
Eric's father was kind enough to not report him to the police. But in exchange, he made Eric promise to repay him in full within a year. That includes all the funds he embezzled from the company and the money he stole from his father's savings.
In only 1 year?
By the way, the amount is $80,000.
$80,000? In 1 year? That's impossible!
Well, good luck. As that man's wife, you're gonna need it.
Natalie, what do I do? Dad disappeared. I don't know when it happened, but all of his things are gone.
He probably left because you two got divorced.
What? Divorced?
Oh, you're being serious. Did you really not notice?
What are you saying? What is this about a divorce? I don't understand what you're talking about.
Dad got fed up with you and got a divorce. He said that he already submitted the divorce papers. It looks like he's having a blast living alone at his new place.
He turned in divorce papers? What papers? I never signed anything. I didn't agree to any of this.
Oh, but you did. You don't remember? I was sent a picture of the documents. And sure enough, it's definitely in your handwriting.
What? That can't be. How did this happen? And how am I supposed to keep living if your father isn't here? I'm just a housewife. I have no other job. I have no way to support myself.
Did you forget that you disowned me? So, you see, we're not family anymore. That's not my problem.
Excuse me?
Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be fine. You still have Liana, don't you? Like you said before, good thing you gave birth to an extra kid. In times like this, aren't you glad that you gave birth to an extra daughter?
Sweetie, do you still have a grudge about what I said that one time? You know I didn't mean it.
You won't ever see me nor Dad ever again. Don't you worry.
No! Please tell me where he is. I need to see him.
Who in their right mind would tell you? By the way, Mom, looks like it's just you, Liana, and Derek, the new man of the house. Good luck living together in that hellhole. When I hung up on Mom, reality finally sank in for her. She would stay in that house all alone without Dad. Moments later, Liana and Derek came stumbling in through the door. They both wept at my mom's feet, begging her to help them repay Eric's debt. Although they were out of luck. My mom racked up her own mountain of debt because she thought she was about to be related to a rich family. In the end, if you compiled all of their debts, it would be over $100,000. The three of them each worked their own part-time jobs. They lived paycheck to paycheck in order to be able to pay off their debts and still have some left over for basic necessities. As for my father, he was fully enjoying his second chance at life, freedom, and happiness. Back at my construction company, sales had nearly doubled now that dimwit Eric is out of the picture. We're definitely gonna pop some bottles over here. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please press the like button.
Excuse me, Charisse. My shirts were folded wrong again. How many times have I explained how to fold them now? Sorry, Elizabeth. I'll be more careful next time. You've been living here for more than a month now. Don't you think it's about time for you to start figuring out how to do the housework without my supervision? I guess so. I can't seem to keep everything straight. Sorry. Don't just apologize. Show me that you've actually learned something by doing better. You're right. Also, it seems that you've been neglecting some things. What's this about you making Matthew do dishes and clean the bathroom? Matthew is my oldest son. He's the pride of this family. Why would you make him do housework? We always used to split all the housework. You mean this has been going on since before you moved in? Well, Matt is better at a lot of it than I am. Do you think that matters in even the slightest? Just so we're clear, I'd prefer it if you put a stop to that from now on. You know we both work. I don't think Matt shares your ideas about gender roles. That's not what I'm saying to you. I swear there's just no point in talking to you sometimes. I'm sorry you feel that way? You know, if you can't find time to do the housework, maybe you ought to quit your job. Why? Isn't that what you said? You both have work, so that's why you think it's okay to make your husband do your housework. Besides, Riley is only in the 1st grade. Isn't it sad having to put her in daycare? Well, I'd like to save up some money for the future. I like to think of it like I'm working so that we can support Riley, no matter what she decides to do in the future. So I have no plans to quit working. Plus, I like my job. A woman's place is in the home, not at the office. I know that time at home is important, and I'm trying my best not to get in your way. We're not talking about you being a bother right now. Maybe that excuse would have worked for you before, but now we live together. I have allowed you into my family home. Do you understand that? Yes? You think you could do whatever you want just because my husband died? No, of course not. Oh, if he could just see the state of this house right now, he would be spinning in his grave. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Do you know what that means? In this house, the woman's job is to support her husband. You are severely lacking in that department. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm afraid the day I consider you part of the family is still a long way off. If you want to join this family, I suggest you quit your job and focus your efforts on your housework. Of course, I'm sure all of this is just going in one ear and right out the other. I'm really sorry that you find me so disagreeable, Elizabeth. I'm afraid I don't have a job I can just walk away from suddenly. But I'll keep what you said in mind. I guess that's the best I can expect from you. It's my guide, as the matriarch, to instruct you. If only you two had moved in as soon as you were married, and I could have trained you from the start. I guess I only have myself to blame for you being so out of control. I promise I'll do what I can to make you happy. Please see that you do. The road to my heart will be in keeping the trouble from you to an absolute minimum. Sorry to bother you while you're out, Elizabeth. It looks like Riley found your cookie jar. It is yours, right? That's right. Let me guess, she wants some cookies? It would seem so. Do you mind if I give her one? I can pay you back for them later. Of course. Give her a cookie, please. Thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, but only Riley. You can't have any. You're not a member of the family yet in my eyes. Yeah, no problem. I won't eat any of your cookies. Really? I don't want to find out you've been sneaking any. Don't worry, I'm on a diet anyway. Ugh, you're one of those people that gets fat easily, aren't you? You poor thing. Our family is able to maintain a slim figure without too much trouble. Yeah, I know. Riley stays pretty slim no matter what as well. I'm glad she doesn't take after me in that respect. Don't get ahead of yourself. She's still just a child. We have no idea how she'll turn out. She's got your chubby genes in her as well, after all. I guess she does? Anyway, have you thought about what we talked about? What's that? Are you going to give up that silly job and focus on your real work? At home? Oh, that. Matt said it's fine if I keep working. Oh, please. You're already past 30. In just a few more years, it'll get difficult for you to have another child. That's true. Why are you talking like that doesn't affect you? Are you saying you aren't going to have any more children? No, I haven't really thought much about it. But we already have Riley. And? What about an heir? An heir? That sounds very archaic. Who is going to continue the family line? Oh, don't tell me you're thinking of letting it end with Matthew. You know, even if I did get pregnant, there's no guarantee we would have a boy. And that's why you need to have another child as soon as possible. Once Riley is married off, the family name is gone. I guess so? But what about Melissa? She has a son. Melissa married into another family. She took her husband's last name, so her son can't possibly take over the family. Is that how it works? Oh, you really haven't given this any thought at all. And yet, you still have the nerve to enter my house? It's a wife's job to provide an heir. Honestly, what have you been doing this whole time? Sorry, I haven't given any thought to that kind of thing. I see. Well, I think that is going to just about exhaust Matthew's affections. I beg your pardon? You heard this morning's conversation, didn't you? I said that I want today's dinner to be family only. Matthew was very receptive. He said that it had been a while, did he not? Oh, you seemed a bit flustered at the time. I take it you understood the implication? Well, I'm afraid it's really impossible to consider someone like you with no proper family values as part of my family. I know that Matthew thinks so as well inside his heart of hearts. Unfortunately for you, I'd say that your time as a married couple may be coming to an end soon. I have to admit, I'd much prefer a new, younger bride around the house. Do you really have to say it like that? You know, I'd really like to get along with you, Elizabeth. You know, considering that you're likely going to find yourself divorced soon, why don't you consider today practice for the future and just eat by your lonesome? The rest of us will enjoy our time together as a family. Matthew, bad news. I know I made it very clear that I was only inviting Melissa and her son to dinner, but it seems she's bringing that husband of hers along as well anyway. Here I thought we were finally going to be able to eat together as a family. What a waste.
That's perfectly fine. You should be thankful that he's coming.
No, it isn't fine. After I went through all the trouble of getting rid of Charisse tonight, too. Wasted. Please come a little early, won't you? What are you doing now?
Oh, I'm not going.
What do you mean? I said we're going to have a family dinner. Why aren't you coming?
Huh? Oh, I'm gonna eat with Charisse, of course.
Excuse me. Why would you eat with Charisse? What about our plans?
Yeah, actually, I wanted Riley to join us too, but she's having a sleepover at a friend's house. So Charisse and I get to have a date night for once.
But why? You promised that tonight would be a family-only dinner. So why are you eating dinner with Charisse?
Because we're family?
Aren't I your family?
I thought so. But I don't know if I can consider you as part of the family if you won't treat my wife as part of the family.
I don't seem to follow.
I told you when we moved in, didn't I? Charisse and I are a team and share our responsibilities. So I asked you not to try and push all the housework on her. And we never planned on living here. But you messaged me, saying how lonely you were here all by yourself. And it was Charisse who worried about you the most and decided that we should come stay with you. I told you all this from the beginning, specifically, so you couldn't claim that you didn't know.
Well, it's just, I didn't want her to forget her wifely duties, just because she was here living in our home. I was just teaching her the things she needs to know as a wife, is all.
Okay, Mom, I think we're out. I never actually even agreed to this in the first place.
What do you mean you're out? Are you saying you're going to abandon me here?
You've been pushing all the housework on Charisse. You've been telling her to quit her job and give us an heir? Who wants to live with someone like that?
She told you that, did she? Ugh, I can't stand people who badmouth others behind their backs.
I wouldn't call it that, considering it's all completely true. And besides, I didn't hear it from Charisse. I heard it from Riley.
What?
She said that you're always bullying Charisse. I can't believe you would do that in front of your granddaughter. Aren't you embarrassed at all?
Well, there it is. That child is definitely her mother's daughter. She's raised quite an impudent little brat.
Hey now, that's my child as well that you're talking about. How can you say something like that?
I never liked Charisse from the beginning. A very plain girl. And she pushes her housework off on the men? I don't think she even realizes she's someone's wife.
This isn't the 50s. Charisse is the most important person in my life.
Maybe if she had at least given you a son. Maybe then I would be able to look at her in a little better light. But here we are. She's totally useless for you, dear. You really have to get rid of her. The best sort of girl for you is the one who wants to stay home and take care of the house.
Who's the useless one? Even though you're still perfectly capable, you don't do anything around the house. We pay all the bills. The only thing you actually do around the house is just bully my wife, it seems.
How dare you say such a thing? After I've sucked up all my pride just to live with that woman.
Nobody asked to live with you. And all this talk about an heir. Since when is our family so special? Grandma herself said our ancestors were just a bunch of loudmouth nobodies from the English countryside. And Dad bought this house. It isn't like it's been in the family for generations or anything.
Are you suggesting that you'd be fine if we lost this house?
It is nice having a place that's been here my whole life, but it's getting old, and the upkeep is becoming a bit of a headache. I don't think it's something we need to hang on to forever, as it becomes more and more of a burden.
You've really changed. Ever since you married that woman, you've changed. She's had a really bad influence on you.
I'm not a child anymore. I'm a father and a husband. So I can't live with you anymore.
I'll pretend that you didn't say that. I can't believe how much of an effect that woman has had on you. It's pathetic.
Excuse me?
You need to think long and hard about who is more important to you, that woman or your own mother. I'll say this clearly. Whoever you choose, you need to be ready to get rid of the other. Are you going to cut off all ties with your mother to live with that woman? Think on it. Oh, and of course, you can kiss your inheritance goodbye if you don't choose me. Hey, Charisse. Matthew has the day off today, right? Do you two have any plans? Matt took Riley to the park. Did he forget his phone at the house? He hasn't responded to my messages. Elizabeth, didn't you two decide not to have any more contact? That is why we moved out after all. Would you mind not messaging like this anymore? He said something to that effect, but I'm an old woman living alone. It's difficult for me if I don't have anyone that I can rely on. Who was it that told him that he needed to choose between the two of us? That was me. Well, he did just as you told him. Well, I never thought he would actually cut off ties. How was I supposed to know things would turn out like this? You thought he would leave me? Well, I am his mother. I carried him in my body for 9 months and suffered to bring him into this world. Who would think a son would betray his own mother like that? You brought him to this, stamping all over his emotions. Everything I did for his sake. I couldn't stand seeing him being forced into doing housework, despite working all day. And what about me? You know that I work too. You're choosing to work, so it's fine. Is that right? I see. You see, I hope by that you mean that you're going to get divorced. Of course not. I can't imagine there's anyone in the world who would do that for you. Then what is it that you see? I see that there's just no way to reason with you, no matter how many times we talk. I thought that living together would give us a chance to get close and build a relationship. I always knew that you didn't approve of me. Then why didn't you just do what I told you? Sure, I could have quit my job and dedicated my life to making my husband and children comfortable. In some ways, that's a very noble life. But Matt and I have different ideas of what a happy life is. And neither me or Riley, or Matt either for that matter, were able to live happily while we were with you. That's why we left. You're really not planning to come back? Not even just Matt and Riley? Will you open your eyes already? How dare you talk to me like this, Charisse?
It's Matt. I just got home. We already agreed that I won't get any inheritance. We're not family anymore, so stop bothering my wife.
Matthew, I was only ever thinking about your happiness.
And like I said, it wasn't necessary. Now you said it yourself. I need to get rid of whoever I didn't choose. Well, I chose Charisse. I didn't choose you.
How are you able to do something as cruel as toss away your own mother?
Maybe because of all the cruel things that you did to my wife? Just hearing about your behavior was mortifying and just sad. And then you still had the nerve to tell me to my face to divorce her and remarry? I have to say I was pretty taken aback. But anyway, for the millionth time, you don't have to worry about me anymore.
What about after I get old? Who's going to look after me?
I think you need to figure that out yourself. If you're going to cut us out of the will, you should probably not rely on us for that. Also, I'm going to block your number as well. Charisse too, of course.
Matthew, please, listen to me. Matt gave me the phone back, Elizabeth. So like he said, please don't message us anymore. Okay, I get it. Fine. You too, Charisse. It's okay if you come back here as well. So please talk some sense into Matthew. Tell him that we can all live together again, just like before. You want me to talk to him? Well, who else is there? Me? Who you've been so cold to this entire time? Me, who you said doesn't count as family? Me, who did all of the housework except when Matt helped me. You know, there was not a single moment where I thought I was glad that we decided to go live with you. So why should I try and convince Matt that we should go back there? Well, didn't you say that you want to get along with me? If that's the case, I think you could do this little thing for me at least. That was while we were still living together. But you don't consider me part of the family. I got that loud and clear, so now I give up. I'm just going to live happily with my own family from now on. Okay, I'll help around the house too. That gives you some reason to live here, right? I think that living with somebody that you don't like is bad for your mental health. I think we both ought to be careful about our mental health. It's no worry for me. In fact, I want to live with you. I'm also worried that living with you again might have some bad effects on Riley. And I can't say that I really want to live with you anymore. No, we're not going to move back in. Please, give up on that idea. Charisse, I've been really lonely since everyone left, so please. I think it's best that you get used to living alone while you're still feeling spry. Because you're going to be alone from here on out. Why don't you consider this practice for the future? before no one will see you anymore. After that, Elizabeth tried to get Matt's sister Melissa to live with her as well. But Melissa had heard from Matt about what Elizabeth had done, as well as Elizabeth not considering Melissa's husband as part of the family either. And so, soon, no one would go visit her anymore. While we were living there, Elizabeth was bragging to all her neighbors who lived by themselves about how her son was there to look after her in her old age. She lorded over all her friends about how she was the happiest person alive, basking in the love of her daughter-in-law and granddaughter alike, until no one wanted to spend time with her anymore. Now I think she's just living all by her lonesome. We didn't move too far away so that Riley wouldn't have to change schools. And we've been living happily, just like before we moved in with Elizabeth. I would have preferred to move even further away from her. But we thought it would just be too sad for Riley to have to give up all the friends she'd made at school just because of her grandmother. Matt and I worked together in dropping Riley off at school and picking her up so that she would never bump into Elizabeth. We still can't let our guard down, but we're still happier now than we were before. There are many different ways for people to find happiness, so I won't say that Elizabeth's way was wrong, but I will say that trying to push her way of thinking onto others was a mistake. From now on, I'm going to trust in my husband, and the two of us are going to work together to raise our daughter. And together, we're all going to work together to build our version of a happy family. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please press the like button. See you next time!
Congrats on getting married! I can't believe you got married before me! What are you talking about, Rachel? I have no doubt you're going to get married soon, too. You said you were seeing that guy in finance, the stock exchange guy. Oh, yeah, him. He totally lied to me. Stockbroker. Ha! He wasn't even in finance. Are you serious? Yeah, so I got rid of him pretty quickly. Can you believe he took advantage of me like that? I'm not young enough to waste my time on guys like him. You have a point. I mean, he lied to you. That says a lot about him. Red flags all over. He's not marriage quality. You married a normal guy with a normal job. You had a normal wedding. Maybe I need to be more like you, Madeline, and not shoot for the stars anymore. Oh, but your man is hella good looking. Oh my God, yes. He's definitely tall. And he cleans up real well for sure. You're really lucky. If it weren't for you, I'd be all over him. To be honest, he's totally my type. Could have been love at first sight for me. Oh, come on. I just got married and I don't want to get into it with my best friend. I'm totally not serious. He's your husband. I'd never. I'm not that desperate. You guys are newlyweds. And besides, he totally only has eyes for you. Sometimes I wonder, though, if he really does only have eyes for me. Sorry, just being paranoid. Don't tell me you're already having your doubts. You just got married. No, never mind. Forget I said anything. Thanks for coming to our wedding today. It really meant a lot you were there, Rachel. You have to promise me you'll be at mine too. I wouldn't miss it for the world. You're probably super busy after everything. So I'll let you go now and connect with you soon. I also want to see your new house too. Thanks so much. I'll reach out once the madness is over. Okay then, take care.
Madeline, guess what? I received an inheritance.
What do you mean? What happened? What are you talking about? Who would you have gotten inheritance from?
So, you know how my parents are divorced and my mom had custody of me. I never saw my dad growing up. I didn't even know where he was. But apparently his dad, my grandfather, was super wealthy. And for some reason, even though I didn't have a relationship with him, he left me something.
An inheritance? Let me get this straight. What I know about inheritances is that there's a lot involved, and it's not as easy as just receiving the money.
What are you worried about? We get $3 million.
$3 million?
Yeah, I almost had a heart attack. Plus, we also get a massive house with it.
A massive house? Where is it located?
They said something about an island or something. Apparently he owned a private island. Isn't that crazy?
And you're receiving all of that. And what about your other relatives? Won't they say anything?
Apparently no one wanted an island they'd never heard of before. They also didn't want the hassle of all the legal stuff that comes with receiving an inheritance, so they all declined.
Really? They all declined? What about your dad?
Dad apparently passed away 5 years ago.
What? How do we not know this?
Well, I haven't spoken to or seen him since my parents got divorced. He didn't really have a place in my life. So I'm as shocked as you are about all of this. But I feel like I won the jackpot. I get $3 million just because we're related by blood. Can you believe it?
I understand you got a large inheritance, but I think we should do our due diligence and decide on things carefully. It's kind of weird no one wants it, don't you think?
What is there to be careful about? The slower we are, the higher the chances it'll just get passed on to the next relative. Then we'll be left with nothing. You don't want that, do you?
I don't think it's a matter of who gets to the finish line first.
But if we have $3 million, we can do anything we want. I've made my decision. You even said you wanted a house. We didn't even have to spend our own money, and we now own a super luxe house.
Yeah, a house on an island. We both have jobs here and responsibilities. I have no idea where this island is, but one thing's for sure, we probably won't be able to commute.
We're getting $3 million, babe. I don't think we ever need to work again. I already told my boss I'm quitting next month.
What? And you didn't even think of discussing this with me?
I'm getting $3 million, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm getting more than I ever will make at this job. Don't worry, you'll be taken care of.
We don't know any details about the inheritance, though. We also have no idea what this island is all about either. I think you totally jumped the gun on making such an important decision.
I don't understand why you're being so difficult about this. It's really annoying how you never support my decisions.
What are you talking about? I support you all the time. All I'm saying is that we need to cross our T's and dot our I's and just make sure we're covered on all fronts.
You're always way too careful, even with our wedding. Sometimes you just need to take the plunge and go for it. Life is all about taking chances, Maddie.
Let's chat about this when you get home.
I'm gonna be a bit late, is that cool?
How late?
I'm just with the lawyers discussing the process and getting the paperwork started.
What do you mean getting the paperwork started? Let's discuss this before you start signing things.
It's all good, babe.
I need you to hear me out.
This is my inheritance, so it's my decision.
Yeah, but we're together, so whatever you do affects me as well.
You have nothing to worry about, babe. It's all happening the way it's supposed to happen. So, I'll be home as soon as I'm done here. It's gonna be a while, though.
This must all be a bad joke, right?
Why is it so difficult for you to support your man? Would you prefer we just break up, go our separate ways?
Wait, what? Why would you even say that?
I'm fine with whatever you want to do. I mean, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Chicks will be all over me.
Have you lost your mind? That's how you look at me?
I mean, all you have to do is just support my decision. It's as simple as that. Do that, and you become a millionaire overnight too. So just sit tight and relax. I'll be home as soon as I'm done here.
Wait a minute, we need to talk about this. David! Madeline, it's been a while. How are you? I was chatting with David and he told me everything. I heard you inherited $3 million. I had no idea David came from such a wealthy family. Hey, Rachel, I had no idea you and David were in contact with each other. Yeah, actually, we reunited by chance at a work meeting. He was the lead sales guy of one of the vendors my company was using. I had no idea. But he inherited $3 million, so I imagine he doesn't even have to work anymore. I heard it came with a house too, and that it's on a private island. I can't believe how lucky you are. I've always dreamed of waking up and the first thing I see is the beautiful ocean. I have no idea about any of the details. David just made the decision without me. You sound worried. But finders keepers, right? So don't even worry about it. It's $3 million plus a house. That's not the issue. I have no idea why you're so worried. I'd be so happy if my man brought home an inheritance like David did. I totally support his decision. He's quitting his job too. I guess island life is in the future. I guess I need to quit my job too. What are you talking about? Why would you need to quit your job as well? 'Cause I'm gonna end up living in that house. What the heck is that supposed to mean? I mean, you don't support his decision. So I think someone who unconditionally supports him and his decisions like I do is more suited to be his wife. Don't you? Did you just say you want to marry my husband? What are you talking about? I guess there's nothing to hide anymore. I've said this much already. Maybe if I tell you we can also get things moving along. So, David and I, well, we've been seeing each other. What do you mean seeing each other? At work? I mean, yeah, we reunited by chance at a work meeting and exchanged contact info. He asked me out for dinner a few days later. Remember I told you he was totally my type and I'd get together with him in a heartbeat? So I started thinking that I could just get him to leave you and marry me instead, and then that would be that. I mean, why waste my time and look elsewhere when the man of my dreams is right in front of me anyway, right? So we went on a few dates and it became serious, so we made it official. Made it official? Are you frickin' kidding me? Since when? Our anniversary is on my birthday, so like 10 months, I guess. You've been together for 10 months. I have no idea how you didn't even notice. Why would I even think that? You're my friend and I trusted you, so why would it even cross my mind? Anyway, so that's that. Cat's out of the bag. So will you break up with him for me? I'm the only one who really understands him and gets him. I don't believe this. Do you need proof? Because I have a ton of proof if you don't believe me. I have photos I can send you, not just that, but screenshots of our text messages as well. Videos, you name it, I've got it. Maybe seeing all of this will help set you in the right direction. Rachel, didn't you tell me you'd never get involved with a married man? That you weren't that desperate? Technically, he asked me out to dinner first, not the other way around. Really? I can't believe him. I mean, I thought about just keeping it super casual, but when he told me about inheriting $3 million, that was like a total game changer. And I just wanted to make him mine. Then I'd be a millionaire's wife with a luxury house on an island. It all makes sense now. David was super easygoing about telling me that I should leave if I couldn't support his decision. I thought it was really shocking at the time, but I guess this explains it. That's because you didn't support him. It had nothing to do with me. No, actually it did. It was because he already had you. And to him, it was as easy as switching batteries or something. Okay, whatever, you win. Anyways, do we have an understanding now? Are you gonna leave him? Yeah. Okay then. I certainly don't plan on sticking around with a cheater. I'm out. So you guys do whatever you want. Oh wow, that was easier than I thought. Thanks so much. I guess I need to get ready to move in with him. And obviously our friendship is done too. Yeah, I think that'd be the easiest for everyone involved. And once you see how we're living the life, you may want him back, and I can't have that. So best for you to leave us alone now. This is all so absurd, and you guys are a disgrace. Bye. Hey, Madeline. We just turned in our paperwork. We're officially married. Now your husband is officially mine. He isn't my husband. OMG, I'm so sorry. I totally keep forgetting. He's your ex now. It's still so fresh. I keep calling him your husband. So, I should be calling him your ex, duh. Of course you're not married. You're single now. I keep thinking you guys are still married. Actually, you're totally misunderstanding. How am I misunderstanding? You got married and then you got divorced, so he's your ex? You were such a good sport throughout all of this. I can't believe you gave him up so easily. No, that's what I mean. Actually, I was never married. Let me spell this out for you. David and I were never married, so we never got divorced. I've never been married. You're not making any sense. What are you talking about? Of course you got married. I was at the freaking wedding. I was your maid of honor? Yeah, sure enough, we did have a wedding, but we didn't actually sign the documents that day. David messed up getting the papers ready for the big day, and then he never really got around to submitting them later. Anyway, the point is that we never made it official. So that means we were never married and we were never husband and wife. You never got around to actually submitting your paperwork. How dumb can someone be? Well, I guess it's a good thing, because then this is his first marriage then, not his second. Yeah, you're right. It's great for me as well, because technically I won't actually be a divorcee. All thanks to my gut instinct. And because I kept pushing the date. I have no idea what happened, but you kept pushing the date? Yep. Well, I knew he was cheating on me, and wait a minute. What do you mean you knew he was cheating? David and I only started dating 2 months after your wedding? Oh, no, not with you, with someone else. With another woman? Once a cheater, always a cheater, right? After we got engaged, I found out he was cheating on me with multiple women. He even invited one of them to our wedding. Like, can you believe that? What nerve? Are you kidding me? I found out about him cheating right before the wedding, and I was really thinking of calling the whole thing off. But he begged and begged and begged for me to forgive him. I was dumb enough to believe him, and we went ahead with it. I fell for the he'd never do it again speech. I don't know what was wrong with me. But then even after that, he started cheating on me with you. I guess people really don't change. And that's why you kept pushing the date to turn in the official paperwork. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I was making the right decision, you know, which I knew I wasn't deep inside. Apparently, I worry too much about things and I'm too careful sometimes. Usually that's a bad thing, but I can't help it. I kept second-guessing myself even though I'd said I'd forgive him. But I guess you could say it was a blessing in disguise. So, congratulations on being his first wife. Once a cheater, always a cheater. He begged for your forgiveness and he cheated on you again? Well, yeah, so there's no guarantee that he won't cheat again. There's no way he'd ever cheat on me. He cheated because it was you. He has no reason to cheat anymore because he has me. So, obviously, he doesn't have a reason to go elsewhere. And once we move to the big house on the private island, it'll be just me and him. No chance to meet another woman. Okay, so about that house? I think it's slated to be torn down by next year. What do you mean torn down? Why would they tear it down? Did you not hear the details about the inheritance? $3 million in cash, the private island, and the house on it. His grandfather was loaded and he left it all to David, isn't that right? Actually, no. Again, you're misunderstanding. His grandfather wasn't rich. What? What are you even talking about? He literally won the lottery once. He won the lottery? That's amazing! Yeah, and he built the house on the island with that money. What's the problem? Rich is rich. The problem is that there's no $3 million either. What do you mean there's no $3 million? His grandfather apparently just wanted to look good in front of others and just wrote $3 million in the will. But reality was that every year he was wasting tens of thousands of dollars because of the taxes and maintenance fees on the house. And now there's only about $30K in the account. Are you kidding me? He said it was $3 million. I heard that his grandfather won $3 million, and he bought the island, built the house, and there were taxes and maintenance, so there's only $30K left. His grandfather really couldn't let his ego go, so he wrote $3 million in his will. Isn't that hilarious? Hilarious? Are you kidding me? And David knew about this? Well, yeah, he'd have to know everything, wouldn't he? The lawyers have a duty to explain everything to him before making things official. But David has a bad habit of not thinking things through and not listening to people. I told him this so many times, but he never listened to me. So I think he thought $30K plus the house is better than nothing. But how can we live with $30K? That's not even near enough. We both quit our jobs because of this. Well, his other relatives didn't even bat an eye at the inheritance. They all knew what was behind the curtain if they agreed to receive it. So they all declined it without a second thought. What inheritance? There's nothing there. And what is this about the house being demolished next year? It turns out David's grandfather didn't actually own the island himself. What? Wait, what are you telling me? I don't get it. Islands are expensive, more than 3 million. So basically, he went in on the island with someone else. They both technically own it. That means the island itself isn't part of the inheritance because the other owner is still alive. And so, since David doesn't actually own the land, the other owner is claiming everything and wants to use the land for something else. That's why David needs to demolish the house. Do you get it now? Is that really legal? I don't know, apparently. Talk about it with the lawyers if you want. It's not my problem, so I don't really care. But then if he tears down the house, then what's going to happen to us? And what do you mean David has to demolish it? It's supposed to be massive, right? That's going to cost way more than $30,000. Yeah, well, it's on a remote island, so bringing the equipment alone is going to cost you guys, like probably double or even triple what it would normally cost. You can't call this an inheritance. It's not even close. That's why I wanted to make sure what the details were. But he decided on his own to go ahead with it. He didn't even give it a second thought and just went through with it. And for me, you know, there was the cheating before the wedding and then the cheating with you after. Plus, him not even including me in such a big decision just made me lose all faith and trust in him completely. That's why when you asked me to leave, I left without a fight. I don't understand why David didn't tell me anything. He didn't tell me any of the details of the inheritance, only that he got a huge house and $3 million. Why wouldn't he tell me any of this if he knew about it already? Well, obviously he knew you weren't going to stay with him if he told you. Yeah, well, no kidding. Of course I wouldn't stay. Well, yeah, of course you wouldn't stay. After all, why would anyone want an inheritance and a huge debt, right? So he didn't tell you. Debt? What debt? I think he just wanted someone to help him with paying his debt off because his inheritance alone obviously wouldn't cut it. So, I think that's why he married you in such a hurry. Remember, we never officially got married, so nothing was ever legal between us. And it was super easy for me to just leave him. Yeah, but what does that have to do with this debt you're talking about? What debt are you talking about? He's never told me anything about having debt. He shouldn't have debt. Demolishing the house alone is going to wipe us out. Remember I also told you that he begged for my forgiveness when he first cheated on me? Well, to convince me, he actually signed a contract. It basically said that if he cheats on me, he'll pay me $1 million. $1 million. It was just a letter and there was nothing legally binding, so I asked my friend, who's a lawyer, to help me out. So she looked over it and we got a witness and everything and we made it a legal document. I think he just wanted me to take him back and he didn't think I was being serious about the agreement. And the same thing with this. He didn't give it a single thought and just signed it. But when I reminded him of our agreement, he'd actually completely forgotten about it. Can you believe it? So that means he needs to start paying you. Yup. I also know he has 0 savings. So he'll definitely have to borrow it from someone. And considering you're his wife, I mean, I don't know the details because like I said, I've never actually been married, but I think you might actually be on the hook for that as well. I don't suppose you have $1 million laying around, do you? What? Are you out of your mind? Of course not. Even if I did, this has nothing to do with me. Well, I'm not a lawyer, so who knows? But I think my lawyer will be contacting you pretty soon about that. I'd appreciate it if you could look out for that. Even though I know you're probably going to be super busy with getting that island back to its original condition. Good thing you both quit your job so you have the time on your hands to sort everything out. Wait, Madeline, wait! I don't want David anymore. You can have him back. Yeah, no thanks. I don't want a married man. I'll divorce him. No thanks, Rachel. This was all a blessing in disguise, really, and I got to really think about what I wanted, and he isn't a part of that. So thanks for helping me realize all of this. I don't want you to thank me. I just want you to take him away from me. I don't want him anymore. He's a totally useless liar. I told you I don't like liars. Well, it was your choice to be with him. You should have figured out that he was a liar sometime in the 10 months that he was cheating on me with you. Madeline, please help me get out of this mess. Yeah, no, not a chance. You two deserve each other. He has no money. The house which I thought he had is being demolished. He doesn't even own an island. He's a serial cheater and he signed an agreement that says he'll pay you $1 million if he cheats on you without a second thought? Why would I even want to stay with an idiot like him? You should really let him know not to sign legal documents without thinking about it and doing his due diligence. Please, Madeline, help me. Madeline? I was supposed to be the wife of a multimillionaire, not a poor loser like him. David eventually realized the burden he'd put himself into by not thinking twice about the inheritance. Apparently, he left it up to Rachel to clean up. To no surprise to anyone, he'd already used up the $30,000 he'd actually inherited. Rachel lost it on him and gave him an ultimatum: go get a job or she would leave. I heard a rumor recently that they're just barely getting by. But to their credit, they are taking care of the demolition and paying off the debt they owe me in installments. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and send us a comment. And don't forget to subscribe.